Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Walker if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your paper like
you might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to True FM 96.1.
Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. Again, you're listening to 30 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. The day is Monday, दिन of news with Edwin Batafoyan. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Naketa, and good evening, everyone. President Joseph Boakai has extended heartfelt condolences to President Joe Biden and the Carter family and the people of the United States of America on the death of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. President Carter, who served as the 39th President of the United States from 1977 to 1981, was renowned for his unwavering commitment to human rights, democracy, and humanitarian efforts worldwide. His post-presidential endeavors, particularly through the Carter Center, have left an indelible mark on the global health and peace initiatives, especially in Liberia. His death was announced by President Joe Biden earlier on Monday. Reflecting on President Carter's legacy, President Boakai said former President Carter's dedication to promoting peace and human dignity resonated deeply with the values Liberia hold dear, adding his efforts in advancing democracy and human rights have been a beacon of hope for many nations, including Liberia. According to an executive mansion release, the bond between Liberia and the United States has been historically significant, with leaders like President Carter playing a pivotal role in fostering diplomatic relations and supporting Liberia's journey towards peace and stability. In this time of mourning, President Boakai has urged all Liberians to join in solidarity with the American people, honoring the memory of a leader whose life was dedicated to service of humanity. The newly constructed Atia Bridge in Riverside County that links Riverside to Sino and other parts of southeastern Liberia has collapsed. According to reports from the county, the incident occurred on Monday when a load bed carrying an excavator broke into the bridge, causing its failure. The incident occurred barely a week after it was reopened to the public, following months of extensive work by the Ministry of Public Works. Meanwhile, residents have expressed concerns about the impact of the bridge's current situation, noting that it will hinder the region transportation network. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works has expressed grave concerns regarding the collapse of the Atia Bridge, which have undergone extensive repair by the Ministry Bridge Unit. In a press release, the ministry said, While it is grateful that no lives were lost in the incident, it remains deeply troubled by this unfortunate development. According to the Public Works Ministry press release earlier in November, the ITR bridge faced several overflowing and unusual vibration, raising concerns about its structural integrity and prompting the ministry to intervene. The release quotes the ministry as saying damaged components were replaced and the structure underwent a true inspection by the ministry before being fit for relaunch. Meanwhile, the ministry has expressed great disappointment over the collapse of the bridge due to the passage of a load bear carrying an excavator and act that frequently violated the established tonnage regulation. The ministry noted that as part of its commitment to public safety, the ministry has convened a conference with community stakeholders, including representatives of the joint security, to ensure adherence to the bridge low capacity regulation. It added that during the conference, the ministry emphasized that the RTR bridge could accommodate a maximum load of 25 tons, including the weight of a truck, typically 15 tons, and additional 10 tons of cargo. Nimba County Superintendent Myean Gono says the county administration is fast-tracking construction of the Welcome Center in Sokopa ahead of the burial of the late Senator Prince Johnson. She said the center is where guest leaders are always welcomed into the county by traditional leaders. The superintendent said the body of the late senator will be removed from the Samuel Cracker Funeral Home on the 14th of January and taken to the Rantodat of the Capitol building for tribute and later be taken to his church in Pinzio for wakekeeping. Superintendent Myean Gono further revealed that on the 15th of January, the body of the late senator will be taken to Nimba County while subsequently making stop in Margibi, Bank, and other big cities in Nimba to have people pay their last respect. She put the cost of the entire project at over $200,000. Superintendent Gono thanked the people of Nimba for their support to the entire process. The regional organization ECOWAS and the continental body, the African Union, have reportedly endorsed Liberia candidacy for the non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. Speaking in an interview with VOA Nightline Africa during the weekend, Foreign Minister Sarah Beslo Yanti disclosed that Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria have both backed off in order for Liberia to ascend to the global decision-making body. She added that Liberia has never ascended to such global decision-making body since the late early 1960s, and the rest of the global community can benefit from Liberia's experience. Meanwhile, Liberia and the Millennium Challenge Corporation have not reached an agreement to give Liberia $500 million as it is widely reported, according to the Liberia Foreign Minister. Whatever MCC and Monrovia will agree will in long way assist the arrest agenda of the president. The Liberian academic community in the diaspora has stepped efforts aimed at encouraging President Joseph Boakai to appoint Dr. John Wulu as president of the University of Liberia. The former vice president at the University of Liberia, Dr. James Tappet, who is also a former Liberian ambassador to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, disclosed that there is an area of academicians in the United States and Australia willing to contribute to the manpower development of the University of Liberia. Speaking in an interview with reporters from the United States, Dr. Tappet added that President Boakai's name will go down in history if he can make UL an institution of excellence not only in West Africa but on the African continent and the global community. According to Dr. Tapia, Dr. Wulu has the international connection that encourage lecturers from the Great Britain, Australia, and the United States to render services to the UL through their volunteering. The Director General of the Internal Audit Agency of Liberia, Dr. Kimad, has highlighted the achievement of the agency this year. Speaking Monday on state radio, Kimart said a total of 12 special audits, which signify the fight against financial malpractices, were conducted by the agency in 2024. The RAA Director General explained that the move aligns with the entity compliance measures, which aim to ensure accountability in the use of public funds. He revealed that each institution that was affected by the agency audit received a copy of the audit report with recommendations for future actions, noting that the report has been included in the overall audit report for onward submission to the President. The RAA boss has also boasted of an increase in compliance in the number of internal audits, with significant deployment across government ministries and agencies. David Kimand at the same time dispelled media report that the RAA has indicted the Bomi County College after a special audit at the institution. A one-day meeting aimed at taking stock on the activities of the Grassroots Pastors Association of Liberia in the year 2024 has ended a one day with the adoptions of a two-count resolution calling on President Joseph Boakai to launch an open door policy in order to encourage more investors to come to the country. Speaking in an interview with the station shortly after the meeting, the president and founder of the association, Reverend Dr. George Zobia, disclosed that members of the organization believe that the open door policy, which was once launched by the late president William V. Stockman, will open the country to investors. The meeting also encouraged the government to address causing the prolonged closure of the University of Liberia so as the young people to obtain their education. The General Overseer of the Ministry of Truth Incorporated, Judah Assembly Church on the Butcher Island, Reverend Dr. John D. Monga, wants to see Liberians united more in 2025 for the common good of the ordinary Liberians. In an exclusive interview, Reverend Dr. John Monga noted that the citizens have suffered as a result of personal and power greed by national leaders. He called on the House of Representatives to put their differences aside and focus on the future of the country and its citizens. According to him, a divided nation cannot move nowhere. As such, there is a need that other leaders come together and think about the country and its citizens. Reverend Dr. Mongat added that the 4C growth in Liberia economy comes 2025 is based on the draft national budget. He encouraged Liberians both home and abroad to think positively about the country instead of negativities. And away from Liberia, at least 71 people have died in suffocating Ethiopia after a lorry plunged into a river, official says. The vehicle, which was traveling through Sadima State on Sunday, fell into the river after it missed a bridge, a local official told the Reuters news agency. Wosolenyi Simeon said many of the passengers have been guests at a wedding party. Traffic police in the region reported the lorry was overloaded, which was likely to have caused the incident. Mr. Simon said future investigations are underway of the people who to have died. 68 were men and 3 were women. The Sadima Police Commissioner Traffic Prevention and Control Directorate said. That's it for the news bulletin. It's back to you, Naketa Roberts, for the continuation of the news desk.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow.
For breaking us the bulletin of news, which is a regular feature on this news desk program here. If you're just joining us, you're listening to 30 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. This news program is powered by Orange Liberia and Ecobank Liberia Limited. Top stories we're following this evening. President Joseph Boakai extends heartfelt condolences to the President Joe Biden, the Carter family, and the people of the United States of America on the death of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. Newly constructed RTI bridge collapses in Riverside County, disconnecting Sino and other counties in the southeast, as Public Works Minister expresses deep regret over the incident. Nema County Superintendent Kawumiape Gono says that the county administration is tackling construction of the Welcome Center in Sokopa ahead of the burial of the late Senator Prince Johnson, describing it as a historic project. And away from Liberia, at least 71 people have died in Ethiopia after a lorry with wedding guests forced into the river. To our first development this evening, Nemba County Superintendent Kawumiape Gono says the county administration is fast tackling construction of the Welcome Center in Sokopa ahead of the burial of the late Senator Prince Johnson. She said the center is where guest leaders are always welcomed into the county by traditional leaders. The superintendent said the body of the late senator will be removed from the Samuel Straka Funeral Home on the 14th of January and taken to the rotunda of the Capitol building for tribute, and later be taken to his church in Painesville for wakekeeping.
Security, this is, and those things with earmark will be ready in time. The process starts from January 14 to the 18th. 14, the body is removed from the Straka Funeral Home, is taken to the rotunda for tribute, and then it goes to the church in Painesville for night of wakekeeping. The next morning, the body heads towards Nema, making brief stops in Mankibi and also in Bond County, where you have huge number of Nibarians who will be taking over to at least see him pass, as the casket is going to be floated in a glass cage to give people the opportunity at least to pay him salute.
That's the voice of Nemba County Superintendent Kawumiape Gono speaking to journalists on Monday in Nemba County. The regional organization ECOWAS and the continental body, the African Union, have reportedly endorsed Liberia's candidacy for the non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. Speaking in an interview with VOA Nightline Africa during the weekend, Foreign Minister Sarah Beslo Yanti disclosed that Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria have both backed off in order for Liberia to ascend to the global decision-making body. She added that Liberia has never ascended to such global decision-making body since the late 60s, and the rest of the global community can benefit from Liberia's experience.
The fact that ECOWAS as a bloc has had a very good cooperation. ECOWAS, we had Guinea-Bissau at our previous ECOWAS meeting in July. Guinea-Bissau indicated their interest in vying for the seat as well, and Nigeria was discussing the possibility of going subsequently, but amongst us, we were able to come to an agreement in July that Liberia will go ahead to vie for the seat for 2026, 2027. Guinea-Bissau will go after. And I think that level of cooperation and agreement amongst the ECOWAS countries was fantastic. And so we know that we have the support of ECOWAS. Also in February, we were able to conclude on the support from the African Union for Liberia's bid. And that also gave us a boost. But we know that having the support articulated as a bloc is one thing, but you have to make sure that those who go instead to do the vote actually cast the vote. And so it's a lot of work we need to do to demonstrate that we're going to be a voice for Africa. But in the interests of Africa, yes, as a sovereign nation, we carry Liberia's voice, we carry Liberia's interest and Liberia's agenda, but we also speak to the African bloc as well. So this is significant.
Well, Prime Minister, recently the Liberian capital was touched, and a lot of people are expressing concern that looking at the situation, it might even undermine the efforts to gain the seat of the UN Security Council. What is your take on that?
My take is that this even demonstrates even more why Liberia should be on the Security Council, because peace building takes a long time. It takes a generation. And when the Security Council sits to determine what model or what construct a peacekeeping mission or a political mission should have in a country that's going through conflict or a country that's fragile or vulnerable, the experiences of Liberia will add value to those conversations, because what we're experiencing today is not an event, it's part of a long history of the conflict we have had, some of the challenges we have had, and we've come out on the other side better and stronger, but yet we still have some challenges that remain. So I would beg to differ and say that these are the reasons why we should be there to talk about the longitudinal approach, the issues we face today with drugs and crime and so forth. Are those not a result of some of the challenges we have had in terms of conflict and chaos? We had a peacekeeping mission that is deemed to be a successful one that folded down the UNMIL. However, one would argue that you also had some elements of peacekeeping that didn't work. You know, the DDRR process, the reintegration and rehabilitation that happened with child soldiers, but they were not sustained. We have a traumatized population. We have people who still need trauma counseling. We have the effects of war. And so peace building needs to be approached probably differently. And I think the Liberian experience will help to add value to that conversation of.
And that's the voice of Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti speaking in an interview with View in Nightline Africa over the week. The Director General of the Internal Audit Agency of Liberia, David Kimmer, has highlighted achievements of the agency this year. Kimmer said a total of 12 special audits, which signify the fight against financial malpractices, were conducted by the agency in 2024. The RAA Director General explained that the move aligns with the entity's compliance measures, which aim to ensure accountability in the use of public funds. He revealed that each institution that was affected by the agency's audits received a copy of the audit report with recommendations for further actions, noting that the report has been included in the overall audit report for onward submission to the President.
In terms of the cooperation with the health of entity, I think that is the fight against fraudulence and against the public. There always be concern when it has an entity, when you have power sometimes and somebody to check with you, you do get concerned. We do get some pushback, but for the most part, when we speak to heads of entities, we tell them what our role is, we can get cooperation. Now, in fact, what do we do now? We follow up on other recommendations, which is a cardinal part of what we do. So we follow up on other recommendations in place of institution, and then we find out those respective departments that should be working to implement those recommendations. We're not always going to be 100%, but we have to keep pushing on, and that's what we do. The first one, we set up at the beginning of the year. We have an auditor assigned at MAS, Ministry Agency Convention or SOE, State Enterprise. The first thing our auditor will do a risk assessment of the entity, and we try to identify those areas that we think are auditable areas of concern. This will do risk assessment, also do a plan, we do an audit plan. So the plan will tell us what we're going to be doing during the course of the year in terms of what areas we're going to be looking at, what activities we're going to be looking at. In addition to that, the auditors who are based at these auditors do continuous monitoring and real-time response to issues of concerns.
That's the voice of the Director General of the Internet Audit Agency, David Kimman. At the same time, David Kimman dispelled media reports that the IAA has inducted the Myean County College after a special audit at the institution. He spoke Monday on state radio. That's the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency, David Kimman, dispelling media reports that the IAA has inducted the Myean County College after a special audit at the institution. The opposition movement for progressive change has condemned President Boubacar's recent statement that, according to the MPC, encourages corruption in Liberia. MPC, through its national chairman, called on President Boubacar to retract his statement, saying the party is deeply troubled by such statement from the president. Onel Passaway said such statement is not only an endorsement of corruption, but also a dangerous precedent that undermines the integrity of government and institutions.
MPC categorically condemns the deeply troubling statement made by President Joseph Boubacar, which blatantly encourages corrupt government officials to steal from public funds as long as they direct their illicit wealth towards aiding the poor. Such a statement is not only an endorsement of corruption, but also a dangerous precedent that undermines the integrity of our government and institutions. We are appalled by the President's remark, who suggests that theft from the public purse is acceptable if it is purportedly used to bless the people. This is an egregious misstep that a leader who should be focused on strengthening transparency, accountability, and ethical governance. The MPC is applauded that the President, rather than taking the necessary steps to eradicate corruption and address the root causes of poverty, has chosen to implicitly validate all as a tool for redistribution. No serious leader in Liberia and anywhere in the world should tolerate or encourage corrupt practices under any circumstances. President Boubacar's statement reveals a disturbing lack of commitment to the fight against corruption, and it sends a dangerous message that stealing from the state is permissible as long as it is done with the intention of benefiting the poor. Such rhetoric directly contradicts the value of good governance, fairness, justice, and only serve to perpetuate culture of impunity. Furthermore, this statement undermines the critical work that needs to be done to restore trust in our government and build a society based on fairness and transparency. It is precisely the kind of weak and irresponsible leadership that has allowed corruption to flourish in Liberia for decades. The MPC calls on President Borka to retract his statement and take immediate steps to demonstrate a genuine commitment to ending corruption within the government.
The voice of the opposition movement for progressive change national chairman O'Neill passed away. If you're just joining us, you're listening to 45 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. This news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. In more development, the Liberian academic community in the diaspora has stepped efforts aimed at encouraging President Joseph Boakai to appoint Dr. John Wulu as president of the University of Liberia. The former vice president at the University of Liberia, Dr. James Taped, who is also a former Liberian ambassador to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, disclosed that there is an array of academicians in the United States and Australia willing to contribute to the manpower development of the University of Liberia. Speaking in an interview with reporters from the United States, Dr. Tape added that President Boakai's name will go down in history if he can make the UL an institution of excellence not only in West Africa, but on the African continent and the global community.
University of Liberia, which is supposed to be our premier university, has for a long time been without the capacity to reach its top achievement. The question now is, where do we go from here? How do we move from a society whose educational system has been abandoned, that's had nothing else to do, and move to a level of excellence that will put Liberia on the roadmap of the Liberian society as a whole, the University of Liberia will put Liberia on the society as a whole, as a national society, within the ECOWAS sub-region, within Africa and the world. That is the challenge that I have the opportunity to reflect on. And I'm also grateful to President Boakai, whose era it is in the last 9 months to be the new president of Liberia with challenge to build a better Liberia. That challenge has just started, but it has a long way to go, and it doesn't stop with him. It involves all of us, all Liberians, working together freely, professionally, and patriotically.
And that's the voice of the former vice president at the University of Liberia, Dr. James Tape. At this juncture, we now cross over to Sick Sports with Edwin Batafoyan.
Good evening, Naketa. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sports. Liberian Ambassador Light for Sports Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Aliyu Kiba, has frowned at those who are bent on transitioning his reputation by alleging that he has defaulted on his promise to pay their monthly salary. Speaking to a team of sports journalists at the weekend, Aliyu Kiba disclosed in an angry tone that his decision to develop sports, especially football in Liberia, is driven by passion to assist Liberian children of their sporting area. He called on the individuals, insinuating that he owns them to desist from the similar campaign as no contract was signed between him and any of his staff at his academy for sport development. Kiba asserted that he has option to leave Liberia at his will, but his desire to invest in grassroots sports programs for the sake of the kids is what inspired him to keep pressing on, irrespective of the distraction, as his goal is to eliminate, that's to develop Liberia's sports sector.
I'm not strong in the mind. I come to serve. I give my money. And one day I was working he go out and destroy my name. If I'm not strong, I just stop and just pack my things and sit down. And whatever, if I do it, look at the children. They come from, I don't know them. They don't pay. If you want to go any academy here, you pay to train. I give them something like, I give them hope. How you don't see any academy who come to train here if the children they don't pay money, $50 to $100 a month. Do you think them parents they have $100 a month? No. You get salary even less than $100. You will give to your children to go practice. Look at Senegal. We have to start from the bottom. We just have to go back and start from the youth. If you don't start from the bottom, you'll never have success. If you just say like, okay, I'm 25 years old, I reduce 5 to say I'm 20 and can play football, you know what? You have to start from 10, 12, from the youth and teach them that the youth will be tomorrow.
Hence, Liberia's post ambassador at large, Aliyu Kebe, there speaking. Today's development now, well, the House of Representatives is investigating Hilary Saki, Deputy Controller of the Lower House and President of Pinsville Football Club, over allegations of placing individuals, including players from his club, on the supplementary payroll. A leaked copy of the payroll shows that 3 players from Pinsville Football Club and the club's media officer are listed as employees with verifying job descriptions and monthly salary. Pinsville FC competes in the first division of the Liberian Football Association National League and are the defending champions of the Orange Cup. Supplementary pay refers to compensation provided by an employee in addition to an employee regular salary. The payroll indicates that players like Mark P and Eugene Swen are listed as gardeners, each earning $350 monthly and are recorded at position number 161 and 158 respectively. Goalkeeper Emmanuel Daniel is listed as an office assistant earning $300 monthly at position number 64. Meanwhile, the club's media officer Luke P. Joe appears as research officer earning $350 monthly and is recorded at position 108. It remains unclear whether the listed individuals are actually receiving the stated amounts as reported. Anyway, from Liberia, Liverpool winger Mohamed Salah says he is far away from signing a new deal at Premier League club Liverpool. The Salah 32 is out of contract at the end of the season and can enter negotiation with non-English clubs on January 1, 2025 over a fee trumpet once his deal expires. The Egyptian scored his 20th goal of the season as Liverpool beat West Ham United 5-0 at the London Stadium on Sunday to extend their lead at the top of the table to 8 points. Asked about his future following the victory, Salah told Sky Sports that he's not near signing another contract with the Marseille club. Salah club captain Vangi van Dijk and England defender Trent Alexander-Arnold are out of contract at the end of the season. Arnold have been linked with a move to Real Madrid in Spain. And the referee will announce any video assisting referee decisions to football supporters inside stadiums in England for the first time during the Carabao Cup semi-final. A visit to the VAR pitch side monitor or when rulings are made on factual matters such as accidental handball by a goal scorer or offside offense where the attackers touches the ball. And finally, just before coming, the English Premier League round 19 matches is currently ongoing. Chelsea is down to Happy Switch by goal to nil, while Brighton and Arsenal at 1-1 after 46 minutes. Manchester United is down to Newcastle by 2-0 after 32 minutes of action. That's the latest from the sports. It's back to you, Naketa Roberts.
Many thanks to Edwin Butterfoy and Vex. In more news, a one-day meeting at a taking stock on the activities of the Grassroots Pastors Association of Liberia in the year 2024 has ended. Day one with the adoption of a 2-count resolution calling on President Joseph Boakai to launch an open door policy in order to encourage more investors to come to the country. Speaking in an interview with this station shortly after the meeting, the president and founder of the association, Reverend Dr. George Zobar, disclosed that members of the organization believes that the open door policy, which was once launched by the late President William V. Stockman, will open the country to investors.
We are asking, we just got about two counts, major two. One is the implementation of this open door policy that it will benefit all of the citizenry of Liberia so that we can have continued and spontaneous development of Liberia. The next thing was, I am the consultants of the state of the African diaspora, and the African diaspora, they are asking us to appeal to our government to have them impacted to come to Liberia so that they will be able to invest into everything we're doing. One of the things we are telling the government to do is for President Barker to be able to appoint John T. Wulu to be the president of the University of Liberia. John Wulu, we have worked with him over the years. He's a product of the University of Liberia. He went to the United States and he is now leading university system of the United States of America. So we want you to come back with all the expertise, all the resources, and all the contact to Liberia.
That's the voice of the president and founder of the Grassroots Pastors Association of Liberia, Reverend Dr. George Zobar, speaking to journalists in Monrovia. The General Overseer of the Ministry of Truth Incorporated Judah Assembly Church on the Bourgeois Island, Reverend Dr. John D. Munger, wants to see Liberians united more in 2025 for the common good of the ordinary Liberians. In an exclusive interview, Reverend Dr. John Munger noted that the citizens have suffered as a result of personal and power greed by national leaders.
Of political trade after election, we have one flag. That's the flag of Liberia. So I pray to see a unified state with a unified government, a government of inclusion, a government where the rights of people will be respected, where the voices of everyone will be heard. My prayer is that the result and issue as quick as possible to do the Liberian people business. Regardless of what has happened or what is happening, in every political arena, those things happen. But the sooner they reconcile, the better is the interest of the state. So it's my prayer that they will reconcile the differences, come together, and the reasons for which they were elected to serve the Liberian people so they can go ahead and do that. There are diverse views. Always there will be diverse views. The views will not be just one side. Other people say, oh, things are not good. Other people say, oh, things are good. But our prayer as a church is that the economic situation grows from good to better and get the best.
And that's the voice of the General Overseer of the Ministry of Truth Incorporated Judah Assembly Church on the Bourgeois Island, Reverend Dr. John D. Munger. You've been listening to 45 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. This news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. Well, that's all the time we have to be with you. But before we go, a recap of the top stories we have been following this evening. President Joseph Boakai extends heartfelt condolences to President Joe Biden, the Carter family, and the people of the United States of America on the death of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. Newly constructed RTI bridge collapses in Riverside County, disconnecting Sino and other counties in the southeast, as Public Works Minister expresses deep regret over the incident. Nimba County Superintendent Kowu Miape Gono says the county administration is fast tackling construction of the Welcome Center in Sokopa ahead of the burial of the late Senator Prince Johnson, describing it as a historic project. And away from Liberia, at least 71 people have died in Ethiopia after a lorry with wedding guests forced into a river. Many thanks to our contributors, our editors, our reporters, and all those who helped in today's edition of the program News Decks a success. EcoBank Liberia and Orange Liberia remain our top sponsors. Just as Edwin Batafoyan brought us sports and the bulletin of news. Kopo Sanga coordinated the sounds, and Marka Naketa Roberts presenting. Do have a blessed evening.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll keep your plate alive.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen Delta present.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to True FM 96.1.